Cool. And I am recording.
Perfect.
I see, let's see, I see, okay, good. I see everyone there pretty much.
So Devin is still in Palm Springs and Dave has just left on vacation, so hence why we're recording it. I don't know where Kalita is, but we have Cody, Mark, Des, and Steven here for us.
Cody, Mark, Dev, Steven, got you in that order. Good afternoon, actually. It's afternoon. I almost said morning. The time flies. I've got my son in surgery as we speak, so I'm a little bit off today.
Oh no.
He'll be okay.
Major surgery or?
His ACL.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
Thanks, man. He'll be done in about hopefully an hour. So cool. So let me get a little bit bigger picture of you guys. Let me blow this up. Give me 1 second. Why is that not working? All right, there we go. All right, cool. So let's talk about where we left off last week. Let's kind of go over some challenges, some good stuff, some wins, losses. Kind of keep this, we can make it personalized as well. If anybody wants to share some of their things openly, I'm fine with that. I did get, let's see. So I've got David's, I got Cody, I got your 1355. Thank you.
Yeah.
Got David's non-negotiable.
I think I sent you my non-negotiable in an email with 1355 as well.
Yep. So let's talk about, you guys sent me over the activity sheets too. I'm trying to see if I've got everyone's. I've got Kalita's, I've got Mark's.
You won't have mine. I was in an event last night and I left my planner in the office. So I'll send it to you just following this video.
Okay, I've got Mark. Yeah, I've got Mark. Who else am I missing?
Steve. I'll send mine over to you too right now. I'll email over.
Okay, cool. So then I got, do I have Des? I got you, Des.
Yeah.
Yep, Kalita, Des. Okay. And Mark. Okay. So let's talk about a couple things in general. And I want to go through them. I mean, some of these, I start to get the gut that, we're going through some of the motions on this stuff. Like it's got to get filled out kind of stuff. And it's not my, first day at looking at some of these task things. But some of you I'm looking at like are putting down, we're spending 2.5, 3 hours of lead, I guess calling, lead generation, a whole bunch of things. And some of us are turning into still no appointments or some turning into one appointment. What I want to identify is when you guys check off an hour, half hour, whatever it is of lead generation, what's that consist of? What leads are we talking about?
That's just like contact with new sort of business that's kind of coming through. Just leads that have come through on Facebook ads that have been run.
Okay.
So the first contacts, I guess. Yeah.
So it's everything that's been inbound kind of assigned. Pretty much.
I think it's more like people that haven't been contacted yet either, like new business.
Okay. So if I spent 3 hours, I'm just using this example, 3 hours calling lead generation opportunities, and I've got no appointments held, no showings, no nothing. I have to look at and say, okay, where's the disconnect? What are we saying? What aren't we saying? Because, not they're saying anything bad. It just might not be working. What are we leaving message behind? How are we following up with them? So give me some ideas of what we're saying from a sales perspective. I mean, and if we could look collaboratively, we all have something good to say. So maybe we make kind of a mesh of all 3 or 4 of ours, but let's talk about what we're saying. So we're calling back a Facebook ad lead. What's that conversation sound like?
Thank you for calling and inquiring on our listing. Wanted to connect to see if you're casually looking or planning to buy soon.
Okay. And something like that is either going to be simply we're still looking. Yes, we're doing this. Yes, we're doing that. So you're either going to get the answer of yes or no. Yes, we are still looking. Obviously, another clarifying question. Where's the disconnect of getting, I'm trying to find 3 hours of time. How do I get some appointments out of that? And why are we not? So what we got to be saying something, or we're losing them somewhere where we can't get them to an appointment. Like, think about 3 hours. It's a long time. If it's really 3 hours, it's a long time to be calling people. Figure you got to be talking to, theoretically, and if you're calling them and they don't answer, what are we doing? Do we leave voicemail, or do we send them a text? What do we do?
I think the strategy is to call back like 2 or 3 times before leaving a voicemail.
Okay. Did you guys ever try the double dial? Meaning call them twice, like right in a row?
No.
Okay, so a little trick in sales. They get me sometimes too. I end up picking up. It's called the double dial. It makes me nuts sometimes because then I'll just answer it like, who the hell? It's got to be important. So you call, you get a voicemail, hang up, give it a second or two, call them right back.
Okay.
And then if they pick up, you say, instead of saying like, hey, you don't want to say, hey, I just harassed you and I called you twice. What I always say is, hey, is this Mary? Hey, it's Jeff Lobb. Sorry, I thought I had you connected before and I thought I lost the call. I dialed you right back. I'm Jeff Lobb with the North Group. I always play like I got disconnected, or I was on the first call and I lost the call, so I figured I'd call you right back.
Okay, perfect.
Right, brushes it off that way.
Yeah, cool.
So I want to find out the disconnect of, I don't care if it's 1 hour or 3 hours to very, very few appointments. What are some of the objections we're getting? What are some of the things why are we missing the appointment part?
Just not asking for it, maybe.
Okay. Maybe not asking for it. Are there objections you're getting stuck on? Like, I'm trying to think of, where do they derail you and say, all right, hey, thanks for calling, goodbye. Like, where's that? If you can think of any of the conversations you've had, because I'm looking at a lot of these sheets, everyone's been calling, at least from what either two things are happening. And again, not my first days. We're going through these things as the motions to kind of fill out the blanks and make, we're doing some stuff. I'm sure. I'm not saying you're not working, but we're filling in the blanks. But I have to realistically look at, like, I'm not even good on the phone. I'm better in person. But if I spend 3 hours on the phone, I got to believe I'm talking to somebody that's going to get close to an appointment. So I just want to make sure we're spending our time to be able to get more stuff so you guys get busier. 1 hour lead. And these are people that have either inquired about a house. So I think we have to learn to maybe ask some more effective questions. Can you guys want to maybe throw something at me? Maybe I'll play through it a little bit. If I was the rep itself, maybe I'm you guys, and you guys want to play the Facebook lead. You want to try that a little bit?
I think a lot of it, Jeff, is, most of this is really cold calling stuff, right? So, I mean, a lot of these people are just looking for either to get access to the pictures, get access to a quick price, and they're just, like that first question, are you casually looking or, making a move soon? If you can even get past that first question, a lot of people are pretty quick, like, yeah, that's great, thank you. Click, right? So it's hard to even get a follow-up question in or even to get them engaged quick enough before they're already disinterested and disengaged, I find, the majority of these calls, just because they are pretty quick, right?
Sure. So they're quick to get off once they get the information.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so even if you try persisting, get maybe 2-3 questions in, and, the point you see them kind of disengaging, retry with one more quick question. Hopefully, you get something that'll snag them. But there's like not click, so.
Sure. So let's try that. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong. I'm just saying we got to work through, because I want to hear some, between me and yourselves, some different language to 1 or 2 things we say differently can get to an appointment. And if we could do that and we get 5 more appointments versus none, makes a big difference. So, let's just say you called, you're the Facebook lead. I'm calling you. And I guess I'm just going to make up some stuff because I don't know your market, but I'm going to just bear with me not knowing your market. But, hey, it's Jeff Lobb with North Group. I saw you inquired about one of the homes we have on the market.
Yep.
Yeah. Was your name Des? Was your name Desmond?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. Which property was it, if you don't mind me asking?
Was the detached on Main Street.
Detached on Main Street, and I think it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Yeah. Is the 3-bedroom, 2-bath what you're looking for specifically, or?
Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of shopping right now. I just wanted to, get access to the pictures and stuff. So.
Okay, and that's great. I'll be happy to get them to you. The one thing I always want to make sure that you guys have access to, a lot of times, inventory gets very tough, and I'm sure, have you been looking for homes very long in the market?
No, not really. We're just looking on.
Okay, well, one thing you're going to find out is inventory gets very tight, meaning there's not a lot of homes out there. There's a lot of times we get homes in our inventory before they even hit the market and before the public even gets to see them. Is that something you'd want to maybe be part of? I could share them to you by email or by text.
We're just kind of looking right now. I wasn't really looking to get into too much stuff. I just wanted to see the pictures right now.
Okay, cool. So what's the best way to send you the pictures?
I got them now. Once I put my information, we got released to us.
You got them already? Okay. Is there any one or two properties you'd like me to show you at this time?
No, I'm good.
Okay. How about if I follow up with you in a week or two, or if you have any other questions, I'll make sure you have my information.
Yeah.
We'll follow up in 2 weeks.
That's fine.
Okay. So that's where it usually disconnects right there.
Yeah.
That's usually the cold shut down. Okay. So let's think about it. Not that I had anything good or better to say. Is there any other way to jog their attention? I tried you with a little bit of a hook of, to get you stuff, interested in maybe stuff that doesn't hit the market yet. Have any of you tried something that's gotten their attention when they're in that mode?
It really comes down to the randomness of that person's motivation. Some people really just aren't actively shopping, and they're just really just browsers online. And then you get the odd person like, oh wow, they are looking, and they engage right away, right? So
Right.
I think it's really just about numbers, where you pound the phones, get 20, 30, eventually find that one that, oh wow, they're actually serious about making a move soon, right?
Do you usually get a phone? Usually get a phone number and an email address.
It's mixed. Some are good, some are bad. Sometimes I get a good email, a bad phone, or sometimes I get, nothing at all.
Okay, because what I would probably do is I would probably send a text or an email, whatever I had access to, is to a few other detached 3-bed, 2-baths real quick, saying, hey, here's a few others that might have similar to what you looked at. If you had any thoughts of, taking a peek at these two, I wanted you to make sure you had everything that was out there. Sometimes just triggering that follow-up, it takes a few minutes to do it. But even if you got that link and texted it to them, you'll get more attention there. Just an attempt. Anybody else have a suggestion of getting some movement out of these guys? Code, any ideas on your end?
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of on the same page as with Des. Like, a lot of the leads are just like, they're just there to like find out what the price of the place is.
Mm-hmm.
And not really all that engaged. They're more long-term nurture leads. So you call them, no, I'm not looking. Oh, when are you planning to buy? Oh, we're probably planning to buy in about a year or two. And then that's when I'll shift it. If they're not buying in a year or two, I say, oh, well, do you have any friends or family who are looking to move into the neighborhood and try and get some referral business that way? Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, I would say 99.9% of the time, it's not, just because these people are so disconnected from physically buying real estate that they're just like trying to rush you off the phone.
Sure. A couple things came to mind when you just said that. So one thing says, I'm just trying to think of questions. So you say you're going to be waiting, a year or so, and that's fine. You may be not ready yet. Understanding, are you aware of how the market conditions are changing right now? Because a lot of people don't understand what the difference between now and next year might be.
Right.
Good or bad. Have you thought about what might be good or bad about next year versus sooner than later? Just to see if you can get a little fear factor in there. Because not that you have the crystal ball, but as interest rates are going up and or refinancings come and due on a lot of things and inventory is getting changed, they need to understand that. But more importantly is the other question I would think about, I'm just thinking out loud, is when you finally are ready to purchase a home, or if you found a home you like, what are you going to do next? Do you have a real estate professional already? Have you used one before? Because there's a lot that goes on in our process that we can help you with even before the transaction. And I don't have a problem waiting for 5 years if that's your takes, but I want to make sure you have the right information. Could I be the one that sends you some of that stuff to keep you up to date, to make sure you're fully aware how the market's changing? So something like that, just ask them, so what are you going to do when you do find the home? Well, I'm going to probably call the realtor. Okay, a realtor? Do you need a realtor? I mean, not all of us are created equally. You might have to be able to get that conversation trying there too. Depends on your style. Depends on your personality. I would have no problem saying that. That fits my personality. I could say that. What about, okay, so So I was looking at activity here. So give me some stuff that has been working. What has been working based on some of your stuff, some of your numbers? Since it's just a few of us here today, let's go through what's working. If you want to go one by one, what are some wins and losses? What are some challenges?
I actually had some stale Kijiji leads I had posted a while back, and then had a hit on one of them. Ends up being a buyer client looking to relocate or looking to get into the market. They're connecting with mortgage broker right away. We're going to have to see some showings prior to that approval. They're really engaged now. They're really excited about the next opportunity. So it's they're right to the top of my list, and they should hopefully get a transaction like probably this month. They're that aggressive right now. So
Cool. What was the ad driven around? It was for buyers, that ad, Kijiji?
yeah, it was a local property in kind of the area I was kind of working in at the time. I just saw it. It was a good price, showed well, so I threw it up, and it was crickets on it till now. And it's like 3 months later, boom. So it lured someone who was looking for a specific thing, kind of in the wheelhouse of where I wanted to be shopping. So, or
Okay.
I guess it worked well.
Okay. Anything, any new things go under contract or anything you got kind of beat up on?
I personally was 10K apart from a deal and just couldn't get there.
Who's that, yours?
That's me personally, Cody. Yeah.
10K apart from a deal. How big is the deal?
Million.
$1 million and you're 10K apart. Is it dead or still negotiating?
It's pretty much dead. Like the seller has come down far beyond where they were comfortable coming, and my sellers are maxed out. Like my sellers can afford the property like $100,000 beyond it. It's just they put a set value on it, and it's a condo versus a house. So they're maxed out. That's where their budget allows them to be for a condo purchase, but then they can go to the 1.1 million on a house, just because there's more value and the carrying costs are lower.
Okay, so which side you have, the buyer?
I'm the buyer, so it was listed at $1.2 million or $1.020 million. We went in at 950 best and final firm. That's it. That's all. No questions asked. Seller came back and said, "Yeah, listen, we can do it for 990. Talk to your client." And I said, "Hey guys, like, I know you were at 950. They ended up coming up to 975, so 25K beyond where they were comfortable, best and final. And the seller's like, I can come down to 985 and that's it. I'm not coming a dollar less. And they're like, yeah, we want to walk away at 975. And the seller won't come down at 10K.
Okay. So hold that thought.
And then then she pitched to me, the listing agent was like, let's split our commission, and like, not that desperate for the deal because I know that they've got a 1.1 million budget. They're motivated. We've been looking at homes, so I will sell them something in the coming weeks. It's just a matter of the time factor of me now continuing the search, etc. I mean, I'd rather this one get done, but not at a $5,000 haircut.
Yeah, I mean, the listing agent could have taken the $5,000 and maybe she made that deal with her client, saying to her client, "You come 5 down, I'll come 5 down. Let's get these buyers done." That's probably what I recommended, is saying, "Hey, I appreciate you asking me for 5. That's probably not going to happen. However, if you get your seller to come down 5 and you meet her on the other 5, now we're there. We'll get it done." Yeah. Versus waiting, because there's a cost to waiting. There's more marketing cost, more time cost. Is there a lot of activity on that property?
No. It was listed for $1.05 million, sat on the market for 3 weeks, relisted for $1.02 million, relisted for $1.02 million, and then he sat now, I think they're 18 days on market. And they're now, after this deal not coming through, they're probably listed $999, which will bring in a whole new wave of buyers, because once you pass the $1 million mark, it's required 20% down. There's a little bit of profitability under that $1 million right now. So my assumption is, I mean, if I was the listing agent, I would just relist at $999, especially knowing that my client can't come down to $985. But again, I'm not.
Right. Yeah, I think that's going to be a huge, I mean, if she's still in the picture, I would just ask her to say, "Hey, don't let $5,000 shave you. Go back to your seller. Why don't you give up 5? Let the other one give up 5, and we've got a deal."
Cool.
I wouldn't take it myself, but yeah, she could. And if she's listing and she's stuck on it, maybe it's a pain in the rear, and she needs to get rid of that property, take it, move on. Because remember,
like she is excited. She was pumped that we were going to get it done. I just assumed there was going to be more flex in her seller than there was that she led on to believe. So, yeah, that's all. Bummer.
yeah, I would give her another hit one more time just in case. If it's
I'm planning on phoning her today and just seeing it because this was on Saturday that we made this decision.
Yep.
So I let the weekend hang out, and I'll call her today. Hey, do you still have no showings on the property? Your client's gonna lose this over $10,000. Perfect. I mean, it's really 75,000 from where they started, so I can understand what the sellers are at.
Yep. But if she's willing to give in $5,000 and she volunteered that already, say, hey, with your $5,000, now you're only $5,000 apart. See if you can get your sellers to move $5,000 and you guys meet them.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. It's pretty close though, because it's a nice deal. It's I imagine a 2.5 on your side.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's good money. So time too, you'll sell them something else, hopefully if they're loyal to you. But if they're not and they go somewhere else, now you're out 20, 25 grand that we could have had closed over a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
So not to necessarily discount much, but if you can stay in that negotiation.
For sure.
And to a seller, $10,000 over any period of time, even if it's $5,000 to split in half, it's over a period of on their next purchase, whatever they're doing, it's pennies. It's pennies.
Right. Yeah, and actually, I might pitch that to the listing agent too. I'll just say, why don't you cut the 10 or the 5? Tell your sellers to meet, and then she's going to help them on the buy side. But just say, then just offer them an incentive on the buy side.
Yeah. Yeah, you're losing both sides of this, and if it doesn't get sold or they get mad at you, they're going to buy through somebody else anyway. Show good faith, then make it up on the buy side a little bit, because now you're looking at 20 plus another 20. You'd be looking at $45,000 in commissions.
Yeah.
Tell her.
I'll call her today and try and squeeze a little bit more.
I'm going to bet you they start to talk.
I agree. I mean, the fact that they were firm at $1 million and now we're at 985. It also shows my clients' colors at $25,000 more than what they told me their best and final was too. So.
But are your clients still into it, that if the deal happens, are they still ready to go, or did they already get their head out of it?
Yeah, he told me, he's like, let's talk with them next week and see where their heads are at. In the meantime, we'll keep looking at new options.
Got it. Okay. All right, good. Any other wins and losses?
I finally got a deal done with a client that was just very, very stubborn, and he was 10K off on 2 or 3 other offers we had. Like, we would get so close, but he was just so stubborn on his final number. And it was just slightly under market value in that area. And he would just let him pass, let him go. I've tried a lot of different strategies, and I'm learning of just how to like get to bridge that 10K gap in that same price range. But I finally got him into something in the 11th hour at his number. But yeah, I tried for a couple of his offers coming in off the bat. Listen, this is best and final, 855, not a penny more. That's the top. And he got pissed and said, well, why did you do that? Why didn't you leave any room for negotiation? And in my head, I'm like, we're already 50K under asking, and then I kind of sensed that he was upset with me that I didn't leave it. Cause of course they would sign back at the 875. And it's a negotiation now where I went in, listen, this is best and final. So I tried that a couple times. That didn't work with him. So I don't know. How do you feel about when you're putting in an offer with that best and final tag? This is it. This is all. There's nothing else here. Like right at the top.
I think what happens is sometimes, I mean, you guys can amortize out to 25 years, most of your loans.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's a $10,000 split, you're looking at about a $30 a month difference. In 10 grand. So, you look, when you put it in perspective sometimes, because a lot of these people depends. If they're savvy, they look at big numbers. If not, they're looking at monthly numbers and taxes and everything else. But when you really look at it saying, for 10 grand, we're looking at another $30 a month in general over the 25, 30 years. Is that what you want to hold up the property you really want? And if you do, that's okay. But that's really what it comes down to, is $30. And sometimes that just was like, that's a joke, because, it is literally it's $1 a day kind of a thing, So perspective, I think, is sometimes trying to get it to them where they're so stuck and pound foolish. And sometimes that might be on the seller side too. Like, do you really want to lose this for what would be like $30 a month, the equivalent of $30 a month? And I think when they hear it that way, that means nothing because they're calculating it. So it sounds like a big number here, but really over time and amortized, it's $30. So I think that's sometimes how you have to put it in perspective for them and understand that if they're already going to be spending, $4,000 a month on a mortgage, what's $4,030? Like, is it going to be that big of a deal? You think that's how people perceive things, or am I off?
I feel like it's turned into, well, I'm using this particular client as an example, but it was something strange, like it was a competition now, and it was personal.
Mm-hmm.
It was more about the competition and winning a good deal or winning something as opposed to getting a good property. It was competitive and personal.
A lot of ego, very personal. Yep.
Yeah. Like
So
he wanted to win. He wanted to get his price and then stick it to them if they wouldn't meet it,
Yeah, I think I would have to have. I know that feeling. It's very frustrating. Yeah. So you'd have to say, if you can, depending on personality, is listen. I know you want to win. I want to win as well. The question is what do we really want to win? What's the big picture here? I mean, do we really want a house that you really love? Or is it a matter of just getting a deal and a number together? Like, I want to make sure we're winning the right game. So let's understand, and I'm on your team. Do you just want that number to win, or do you really want the home? And that's what the big picture we want to win at. So just trying to help identify, like, I want to win too, but what is it we want to win?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you might get them to cross over a little bit. It's very, 50-50 shot. They might be like, screw it. That's the number I want. Give me that deal or nothing. Like, they get into that hardcore. They want to win that number because they feel that that's the number that's going to get the deal. But do you really want the home?
It's more so in this market where we're at. It's just that's literally the best and final that people can do. Because our mortgage regulations in this province right now, or in, I guess, country right now, are insane. So there's not really any flexibility once you have your best and final. So like for this guy at 855, quite literally there is no other option.
Yep.
And that's like that for a lot of people because the affordability in this city right now is extremely tight and hard. So people want up here, but they can't afford it. So they're forced to not to say settle, but because of that, like they're just sort of stuck to a specific number and that's it.
Right.
It's kind of what's happened in our market. You don't really have any opportunity to go beyond that. And then when 3 or 4 other offers are coming on the table, it's like, okay, well, one shot and one shot only because there's like not in the interest of wasting time sort of thing, right?
Right. Yeah, and I guess if that's the threshold, then that's what it is. And they'll use that as a third-party excuse. They'll say, look, that's the highest I can go based on my mortgage. I don't want to push it past that. If I had to get out of something or not want to do something, I would just say that's my mortgage threshold. That's it. I'm done. Yeah. All right, so what else? Who else is in the back there? I can't see. Who's behind you?
Ask for the actual mortgage approval to support their claim.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
You ask for someone's mortgage approval to support their claim. So, for example, if a realtor is saying to you, my client can only afford $900, if that's the case, why not ask for that mortgage approval? If you get that mortgage approval, it says that they can actually afford $1.1 million. Don't you think that could be more leverage to sort of negotiate?
Sure, but I wouldn't give it to you if it was my client.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the same.
Like if I'm saying, hey, that's my mortgage threshold, or my mortgage could say I can go up to 1.2, but my comfort level is 900. That's where I'm at. That's my payment comfort level. That's my threshold. I said I won't go over it.
Right.
So, but yeah, I would never give you. And obviously, do you guys get pre-approvals changed based on the property? So if I have a 1.2 approval, I'm negotiating on a home that we settle at 900,000. And they want to see proof. Now we're into an agreement. Do you show them my 1.2 mortgage approval after we have an agreement during due diligence?
So who? The seller?
The seller and or whoever wants to see proof of pre-approval.
No, it's just done on good faith.
Okay.
So every offer we basically, like, I don't know, for me personally, like 85 to 90% of the offers I've written this year, we have waived a financing condition in those offers.
Okay.
Because we will make sure that before we go look at a property, that's how tight this market is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show property to somebody unless I have a firm pre-approval in hand, because there's just so many moving variables in this city where like something that's listed for $399 will probably sell for $475. If you're not pre-approved to $475, I'm not going to waste my time or your time.
Right.
Because you get into the issue of showing somebody something that they then can't afford, and all of a sudden that's the new goal, which is unrealistic. Oh, wait, I'll save for the next year. Oh, wait, you can't save it at 10% appreciation. But then they're like, and then they just get discouraged, and then that's it.
Got it. So, in our world, what we've done too is, let's say if I have a 1.2 and I sold a 900, and they say, hey, because in our side, they want to see, hey, we want to be sure he's pre-approved, send us over the pre-approval. I have the mortgage company say, okay, take the 1.2, change it to 900, send it over at the 900.
Yeah.
I don't want them to see they can go up to 1.2. They'll try and renegotiate.
Yeah, that's not something that's done here.
Yeah. So that's what I was asking. If
Waiving financing condition.
Okay. So what? Give me some challenges this week. What are some of the things we've gotten stuck on? Or I know, Kalita, you just joined us too, and I've got your stuff here. Thanks for sending it.
Sorry, a few minutes late.
It's okay. What were some of our challenges this week? How was our day planning? Did we go rogue really quick on our days? Did we find a time-to-time block? Some of us sent me your non-negotiables. How was your week, Kalita?
My week was good. It was really busy. Scheduling wasn't as good as it could have been just because I had a lot of last-minute clients that want to go see this home. So I kind of drop everything. They're pre-approved. They're good buyers and everything, but I tend to drop in. Okay, let's go with something, right?
Is there inventory for them?
There is, yeah.
Okay, good.
So I've got one couple will be writing an offer tomorrow. So we did an inspection yesterday. They're not taking preemptive offers. We're doing offer presentation tomorrow, so we're going to go in strong. That's really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Another A buyer who I'm waiting to. So yeah, it was a good couple days.
Okay, so hopefully a few of those will go into contract soon. How many?
One for sure, two possibly.
Okay. Did many of us that had too many rogue groups of A's, did we fine tune those A's?
Yeah, that was my number one goal this week. I'm still continuing. I probably cut a quarter to maybe half of it down, but every single time I decide somebody is more of a B, it feels like 5 pounds is lifted off my shoulders, and I just keep getting lighter and lighter and clearer and clearer. This past week, I kind of cut my new business generation in half and focused on what I have really, really good to go right now, and really started cracking through it, and some incredible opportunities have come up. I finally got it done, yeah. So it's just clarity that I needed, and it just, our conversation last week went a long way for me to kind of find it.
You had a lot of A's and still may have too many A's. Well, not too many. It's that to be the main focus. If they're all A's and you still got, for the majority of you, how many A's do you have typically in your list as of now?
See, that's the thing. I can't even nail the number right now. Yeah, I'm still clearing them out and really deciding. Like, to me, it's like A pluses, but like I said, like I'll get an email from somebody who's like, "Hey, Steve, haven't seen anything. You haven't sent me anything lately, but you're really great. We're loyal, so let us know if anything news come up." And then I'm like, "Holy shit, Valerie!" Just because I've been spinning my wheels trying to generate instead appointments and new business, which is really important, obviously. And then all of a sudden, oh, Michelle, oh, geez, Valerie was actually ready to go and is right now. Thank God she still keeps me in mind that I maybe discounted her or put her in the wrong basket or forgot to look in that basket for too long.
So do we have any definition generically of these ABs lists of really what puts them there? Where does the threshold go from an A to a B? Does everyone have a different opinion, or is it all consistent?
I think you just know.
I guess
At
it
least
means
I just know.
like if you're ready, if you're willing to go out and look at properties physically, and we've met in person, like if we're looking at places, you're an A to me. Like, yeah, if I've actually got you out on a set of showings and we're going to keep doing that, then that's definitely an A in my eyes.
I think it's important to get a timeline, right? Motivation, because I mean, a lot of people like to go look, but they're still 6-7 months out, right?
Exactly.
So I think an A buyer is like 0 to 3 months ready to go. B's like you're probably 6 to 9, or 6 to even like a year, and then your C buyers are.
I would refine
a year out.
I'd say A's are one day to 1 month, B's are 1 month to 3 months, and then C's are 3 months beyond.
So we have different definitions.
Well, C's is like 6 months to a year, or a year.
And then what do you do? So let's go because here's what we had to focus on. Ballpark then about how many A's do we have? You just go around the group.
Got about 6 to 8 right now.
Go ahead, Dave. Just go right around the group.
0 for me.
How many?
0.
0. We got to get you some A's.
4.
About 7.
And I know you have a bigger chunk, right?
18.
Well, no,
Seven.
if the definition is like 1 day to 1 month, then it's a lot different. If like I have someone like say a Kathleen who's like, Steven, I just wanted to tell you, me and my husband have talked about it. We really liked meeting with you. I kind of did like a seller consult with them and checked out the property, like a home evaluation. She's going in for surgery on her shoulder, so she's restricted right now, but they gave me this call that said, we want to let you know that we've decided that we're going to be selling with you. We think you're great. We really appreciate all the work that you've been doing. And sorry I haven't returned your call yet, yada, 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 yada. They want to sell in July. So
They're a B.
are they a B or are they an A in your eyes?
I'd almost want to have a deeper definition because to me, they're like an A minus or a B plus if there was a way to say it because they are really ready, willing, and able. And they're how far off the list? A month or so?
Yeah, June, July. She's going in for surgery June 11th on her shoulder. And then
See, I'm afraid if you put that as a B because of the time scheduling, you're going to forget about them.
yeah.
Like, what do we do with B's now? We're all focused on A's. What do we do with the B's?
You get them on a property search, like a match, so you're sending them properties when they come up, just so they can keep an eye on the market and see
Right.
what's coming up for now.
So what triggers then 2 months from now, you just don't forget all about them?
Well, they're on an action plan too, right? So the action plan triggers us on our notification, like give them a call today. Or it's an auto-generated email saying, hey, what's going on? See anything on the market you want to see? So it's prompted automatically, and then you just engage with it as.
You set the time frame?
Yeah, through follow-up bots, right?
Yep. I think there have to be different activities set for somebody like that because the last thing you'd want is they are ready, willing, and able. They're just a little delayed.
Yeah.
So you forget about them by accident. They don't hear from you. They run into somebody else. Boom, it's gone. So there's got to be something keeping it more you involved. So maybe you got to put some tasks around your follow-up to them. And maybe the B list has to have a priority of how you put Bs. Maybe there is a B plus category that's right there. It's a time frame, but they're ready to go. So I think we need to identify. Does anybody else have different definitions of A's, B's, and C's? Because A's I've got from 0 to 3 months, and I've got from 1 to 1 month. 6 to 9, and 3 to 6 for B's, so it's a little bit off there. I'm going to say probably. Who said 0 to 1 month is an A?
I did, Cody.
Cody?
Didn't agree with that. Like, those are people I'll drop what I'm doing to go show them the house. Like, know they're going to transact.
Right. Do you think, let's just try and come up with some criteria that we can all agree on so we can talk the same language a little bit. So do we think from 0 to 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months is an A? Just consensus.
Well, if it's 0 to 1, I definitely know I've got a lot less. The focus on, but I don't want to lose track of anyone anymore. And I'll see, in follow-up boss, I think I was setting tasks for myself. Next Wednesday, send listings or to keep in touch with these B pluses, and a couple tough days of just straight showings and this and that and the other thing. And then all of a sudden I have 40, 50 tasks. And I hadn't been using the action plans to my advantage. I've started doing that now that I'm sifting through my A's clearer. I'm terrified to lose track of people now that I almost did. I don't want to lose that opportunity. So
It was from Follow Up Boss, right? It was some in Follow Up Boss, some on your tracker.
Yeah.
1 month might be kind of tight. I mean, if I'm showing homes and it takes me 3, 4, 5, 8 weeks to get them into a home, they're still A's, but it's way beyond a month. I mean, to me, 0 to 3 sounds kind of logical. 3 to 6, I guess, maybe for B's, and 6 to 12 for C's. And there might be some higher authorities in B's. Top of the list.
I feel like I can go forward with that as long as like you even have like a subcategory of like A pluses who are like
Sure. Yeah.
1 to a month.
I think so. I think there could be I think you need to put a plus or a minus. I think that, I'll tell you what, there's some B's that are going to be pluses and there's some B's that are just going to be B's. I really think you should start to put them in the A category, but put them with a plus or a minus. I think it's really helpful just to have that navigation. But if I'm not showing properties and it's going to take me 3 months to find them one, still an A, still hot.
It took me a month and a half to finally convert that guy at 855. I was showing him places every other day through the week. I've done a lot of work on him.
Right, but you also put in like 3 or 4 offers in that 1 month.
Yeah.
Which constitutes an A plus. Right, so it takes a month to transact.
Give me an example of a good B.
Yeah.
I think it's motivation too, right? If you got someone that's willing to get their pre-approval done, they're willing to get, the paperwork, everything's in order, and they're going out on showings actively, then that's clearly an A, right? But if you got someone that's just like, hey, send me some properties, they don't have their pre-approval yet, their plans are definite, then obviously in the B category. They've got a lot of steps to do before you're gonna waste a lot of your time going out with them, investing your energy when you have people active, right? And then C's are just like, I don't know, I like pretty houses and send me pictures, right? Okay, fine. Okay.
I had one who she was an A. She's like, I had a buyer consult with her. She's like ready to go. Life is good. Sent her a listing. She said, "Oh my God, I love it. Let's go see it." Went to go see it. Put an offer in on the property. Went to go put an offer. Did all the paperwork. Docu-signed it for her to sign. She was going on a trip the next day and was working on a promotion the week after. And her mom was going to help her out with the funding. So mom talked her out of it basically. And she's now canceled 3 times on appointments that I've like booked and got ready for. So like she's just dropped down to a B.
Okay.
One of those things.
Yep.
The only place we can talk to her, which is ridiculous, is on Instagram. I've tried calling her. I've tried texting her. Left her a voicemail. I've sent her an email. Nothing. But like she'll comment on like a picture of my dog on Instagram on my story. She'll direct message me and I'll be like, when are we going to look at properties? And then, perfect, I'll pick you up at 2:00. And then like 11:30 on a Saturday the night before, hey, can we reschedule? I have the day off Monday. And then I'm like, perfect. Call her like Sunday afternoon, just 2:30 work. I have this place. Hey, my boss is sick. I have to go into work now. So it's just like, I'm just leaving it and like, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Maybe she's working with somebody else, who knows? But it's just one of those things.
See, my concern is that B's will become A's and C's will become A's, but the problem is we won't know it.
Right. And that's kind of why, like, I'll still stay in touch with her. Like, we're all like her things on Instagram because obviously that's how you like engage. She likes to be engaged with. So like, I'm kind of using her method of engagement, chipping. Like, she's on a prospect match. She gets daily listings. It's just, I asked her if she got pre-approved. Didn't answer my question. So, but I know financing is not an issue. So it's just one of those things. Like, I know that because her mom was offering to buy the condo cash, and then she would, like, as a fine, like, we were going to waive financing. So mom's a millionaire, so cash is not an issue. It's just, yeah, she doesn't actually have the pre-approval done. It's a weird situation.
So I think we have to put some emphasis and awareness on the B's and C's as so they don't, because I know the A's already went rogue in some cases, right? A's were trying to gather back in and really identify A's. I think if we put some B's and C's, we're going to get so busy with A's, plus new stuff, new open houses, new listings, new this, new that, new that. B's and C's are going to take the back burner, and there's going to be money in the B's and C's that we're going to miss. So we have to find a way to continue to stay aggressively ahead of them and or in touch with them, just not as proactive. So what systems do you have right now besides just emailing listings? Is there anything else that can be done to keep them more systemized and automated, more top of mind?
That's the best way for me personally.
Which one?
Daily listings that they're on like a prospect match, because then I'll go through my prospect matches every day and I'll see that their name and I'll be like, oh, that looks cool. I should send this to them. And then I'll send it to them. And then that's my way of like touching base with them.
Okay. Anything else system-wise we're using?
Pardon me?
Are there any other systems in the team that we have as available to us that could be a good reach out and touch conversation?
Yeah, we've got the action plans and follow-up boss that keep touch. It's more of a quarterly, I guess.
Right? So there's like someone's looking.
Probably got to be something weekly. It's got to be something every 2 weeks at least.
We have buying soon, buying long term, selling soon, selling short term, quarterly touch.
Are those campaigns or
They're action plans. Yeah, you could coffee question mark? Oh, somebody have coffee.
any text engagement?
That is extremely effective with me, for sure. I think people are way more comfortable texting. I almost feel like they're more engaged personally if you're texting back and forth. Friendly wise, like it's like, oh, we're friends now. We're texting.
Yeah.
That's why I have the same question for you that I always have. It's like I know that you're really savvy with having Facebook lists, and in the morning, touching past clients like, hey, congratulations, your daughter just graduated, or whatever, birthdays, or just keeping that kind of touch base. How do you feel about adding a B+ to a social platform?
Why not? Of course.
Right? Is that, yeah?
Of course, why not?
Someone to say that once. Because anyone I have on a social platform that's like a B or even a C, they're liking photos, they're engaged all the time, and I almost feel like psychologically it might bridge that gap where somebody else isn't going to necessarily come and swoop them up, that we're actually interacting on that level. I don't know. I wasn't sure. It was like too soon. Is it too soon to add somebody to?
It depends on how your Facebook account is too, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm like a 6 out of 10 professional Facebook account, so I choose not to. My Instagram, I'll add anybody because my Instagram is very straightforward and it's pretty much to the point of business. But like, I don't want people looking at photos of me from 8 years ago when I was slamming pints on a beach in Thailand. You know what I mean? Maybe I should get rid of those. Who knows?
No, but I wondered if that connects people closer to you. But if they're looking, I don't know. At the same time, I see like you want to be a real estate professional on a certain level too, right? Not just a goofball or some guy who plays in a band. But I don't know. I want to pick your brain about that at some point. See how you felt about adding B's or C's to social medias.
I mean, I personally, I probably would say sure, because it's the better socially connected you could stay to those people, the more you learn about their habits, their buying habits, what they're doing, where they're going. And look, 6 months, 8 months, a year goes by. Look, they could shift their gears anytime about getting ready to purchase a home. Something can trigger in a heartbeat and they're ready to buy a home. So staying top of mind, yes. I mean, it can go from, hey, we're finding out we have another baby, or, unfortunately we're getting divorced, or something's going to trigger somewhere that may cause that transaction to happen sooner or later.
Well, my neighbor across the street, she has her sister buying through me, and her reasoning behind it was, I told my sister, you just started in real estate, but on Facebook, I see you're just selling things. It seems like every single day you're doing so well. You just blew up like a rocket. So yeah, I don't know. It's so awesome. But her interpretation of this self-promotion from time to time on Facebook is what gave her that confirmation that I was in fact worth working with, and then sent me her sister.
Right.
But it was because I was friends with her on Facebook and she saw those kind of things.
Perception's amazing when it comes time to do that. Now I understand you got the kind of those goofball pictures too, Code. That's kind of a challenge. So either some of them just hide those photos maybe, or
I've done that recently. Actually, I went through. I was like, what the fuck is this doing here?
yeah.
But honestly, Facebook's been an amazing tool for me. Like, I literally 2 days ago, somebody just reached out and he's like, "Hey, me and my girlfriend are planning on moving in together. We're looking for a rental, but she owns her condo that she now lives in." So it's just like, it's a guy I haven't talked to in over a year and a half, and he reached out to me because of my Facebook account.
And did you know him prior to that? Where'd you know him from?
I used to work with him in a restaurant like 3 years ago.
Right. So an old colleague that stayed in touch. Good. That's why I think those lists are important. You know, I think a B and a C group, if you have them connected, you should put them in a list. Maybe you name the list differently. Name it a BC list. Under list. But sure, look, everyone is a potential opportunity with the ability to change their timing at any given time. That's the challenge of it. Timing will change often. Too many people say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be out 2 years," and wait 2 years. Next thing you know, you run into them a year later. They already bought, moved, and moved in. What the hell? You know, something got them more anxious to do it. All right, good. So the other thing I wanted to go over briefly is just quick production for the week of what's happening. I know the trackers are not in place yet for tracking production, or at least the trackers that we want. But are we able to at some point figure out where we are versus what our goal is, dollar-wise?
That will be a conversation for Sarah. She's working on that right now.
Got it. Okay, cool. So I'll do that because that's where I want to track. So how many any transactions new this week that have come up since I've seen you last? How many we've got new pending?
I sold the place. It's conditional till Thursday though.
Okay. What price point?
$855K.
Nice. What else? Des, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a couple this week. I've got one right around the 550 mark, another one and two others around the 375, 450 mark.
So how many approximately? 5, 4?
About 3, hopefully within the next 2 weeks or so.
On the buy side mainly?
Yeah, and I've got one sale listing up right now. It's at 998. Hopefully in the next couple weeks get that one sold.
Any action or no?
Yeah, it's been pretty active. I had about 14 showings last week, and over the past 2 weeks of open houses, it's been probably about 30 groups through.
So what kind of opportunities came out of those open houses?
Picked up probably 3 pretty good leads, I'd say. One for pre-construction. She kind of went dark. Sent her some stuff that she was looking for. Haven't heard back. Then a couple other clients went through. They seem pretty promising. So following with them, just got to find the properties. They already said pretty openly, like, we're not loyal to anything. We're just, if you send us something that's interesting, we'll work with you. If not, you know, we see something else, we're just going there. So a lot of people are hesitant to lock in or really be loyal to anybody right now, I find. So it's really about just providing value, taking them consistently, that connection, and forming a relationship.
Besides that open house, is there anything else we could do to exploit marketing there?
For sure. I mean, we're trying to see, it's a big unique property. So I had plans for post sale, really hit the neighborhood with some just sold flyers, trying to generate some more listings in the area based on the activity that we're able to generate through it. Once we get the full stats back from the end of it, obviously we can sell it sooner. That'd be more beneficial. But
How about any circle prospecting around these? Can we do those? Is there restriction?
no, really.
So we could probably hit what, 50, 60 homes in a circle. Do we have anybody ever done circle prospecting?
I have a listing that just went live Saturday or Friday, this past Friday as well. I hit the neighborhood with some like invites to the open house this past weekend. So I was dropping those in mailboxes and knocking on doors for a couple hours.
Okay.
It wasn't very active this weekend in the open houses. I got like 4 groups Saturday and 4 groups Sunday. Starting to feel a little less confident that this thing's gonna fly off the shelf. So yeah, I'm gonna try to come up with some creative prospecting, because I'm seeing a lot more signs in the neighborhood of houses that are just kind of not really moving.
Yep.
Very similar to the one that I'm trying to move. So.
That's why you start circle prospecting. You show aggressiveness. The question is, what do you say when you're at the door? You know, and what kind of an approach do you have? Kalita, did you say you were doing something too?
Pardon?
Yeah.
I have been.
What does your circle prospecting look like and sound like?
Well, usually I will turn on the flyers, just listen, invite the neighbors to the open house, and I use a script sort of like, hi, I'm Lita, North Group, blah, blah, blah. Just listen to this home at 49 Bow Valley Drive. While the time we're inviting you for our open house, all the time, do you know of anyone thinking about making a move to the area? A lot of the time it's neighbors, friends and family that have friends and family that know of someone looking to make a move. And then that's, oh yeah, I do actually. And I've actually had neighbors send their friends and family over, but this house has now been listed for a month and a half. We've done a price reduction. I thought it was going to be a smoking busy open house this week, and I had one person until the last hour, then I had a couple neighbors. Like, it was like dead slow. And then there's 2 other homes that have come up for sale in the neighborhood as well, and they were dead slow as well. So,
The detached market's really slow right now, and it's even if it's priced well, it's we're really hesitant to jump in.
Do you think, have you ever tried, instead of flyers, did you ever think about trying to send them digitally? We talked about last time, I think it was, by text or email. So if I was talking to you at the door, I'm sorry, say again, Des.
So you're essentially just requesting more information and offering to send them a digital package. It's more what you're
Yeah, saying, listen, we got some information on the house up the street. If you want to compare maybe some of that home's values and features to yours, so you can get an idea of equity, might be a good exercise for you to go through. Would that be something of interest to you? I could send it to you.
I always ask for their info too, but
Yeah. So I would say, because if you give them the paper flyer, they've got what they think they need and it's gone. So if I had it as a digital PDF on my phone, and then I just say, sure, I'll send it by email or text. Which do you prefer?
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Not having it ready over it.
If you want to compare that home to your own.
Yeah, if you want to compare that home price and the features, if you want to compare that home, both price and features, to your home, so you can get an idea of some equity you might have, it might be a good exercise for you to go through, because equity is very important. Is that something that'd be helpful for you?
But would they not just then go to the open house and see what their house looks like compared to the one that you're talking about? And then they'll be like,
They sure could. They sure could. And if they do, you'll probably get them down there.
Yeah.
But if they're not coming, I'm just trying to use this device as a lead capture system.
True.
To say, sure, I'll send it to you, and just, would you prefer me to email it or text it to you? I'll send it to you right now.
Cool.
I love
And
how
just-
goals to like give that information too. Like, there's so much value to often goals that's stuff. So.
Yeah, because what I've always tried to do is come up with something where, like, for example, in the States, there's RPR, which does a cool market activity report. Or you guys might have your MLS that does a market activity report. I have it saved to a PDF somewhere, anywhere, and it's always ready in my phone to be an attachment. And I use that as the giveaway, saying, hey, we got this great market activity report, shows you all of the homes on the market, shows you the prices of the homes that have sold. You can do a lot of really cool comparisons to get a feel for where your home stands. Is that something you'd like me to send to you? They'd be like, oh, yeah, that's great. Look right down on my phone. Sure, would you like me to email or text it to you? Because I want something from you. I need to start building my database with a phone number. I can always get their name off the tax records. Bob and Mary, give me a phone number or an email address, because now I have something to add to it. Then I could send them a thank you note or a thank you text or email to them later. Because remember, they may not be ready to do something, but they sure as hell know probably 200 other people that might be.
Yeah.
It's the same conversation. So we're just trying to use this time that you're spending in front of them a little more wiser. And if they don't want to give you anything, how else would you like me to send it to you? I'd be happy to get it to you. But text or email is easy. Just ask it very casually. Would you prefer me to text it or email it to you?
That'd be good even at the open house, right? To have that market report ready to go, because then people are reluctant to even give you fake information on sign-in. At least then there's a, hey, thanks for coming out. see you're shopping in the area. You can send you a report of what's available, what's recently sold, just so you can compare this one and help you with your shopping. That'd be valuable, right?
Yeah, and here's what I preface too, because I just learned it. When I say preface it, I set it up. Is what we find is a lot of potential buyers want to find out not so much even what's available. They want to see what homes sold for, and it's hard to get that information. I have a full report of the entire area of what homes sold for and how much they sold for. Is that something you'd want a copy of? You almost tee them up. That's great. I'll be happy to send it to you. It's digital. It's electronic. I'll send it to you by text or email. Which do you prefer? Build them up. Build it to your database. It's the only way. Look, if you picked up 5, 6, 8 a week, 10 a week between open houses, it's another 100, 200 a year you're going to get in the hopper that are more people to follow up with and talk to and send campaigns to. It's how you build it. But giving them something of value in return for their information is what's important. Good. So if I asked, what's the week? Today is Monday. What's our week look like this week? If I said I won't do this now, but if I said open your calendar, what's your calendars look like?
Waiving conditions.
Are there blocks of space that are not taken in your calendar?
I'm taking Friday off because it's my birthday, and that's gonna be the only day I've taken off in longer than I can remember. I know that's stupid.
No, it's not stupid. That's good. You gotta be able to do that stuff. That's why you do what you do for a living.
No, I don't mean it's stupid that I'm taking it off. I mean it's stupid that I don't take days when I think I should.
Yeah, of course.
I think I had fringed on burning out for a little while, but I'm all geared out now that I've got a deal in there. But yeah, I'm gonna take Friday. And
that comes together.
Yeah. If it doesn't work. No.
But what about I'm picking out of the air. What about Wednesday at 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock? Are there appointments?
For me personally, not right now, no.
So here's what I'm getting at. Because I think I shared this with you, and this is my one of my biggest faults too, is if there's nothing in the calendar, what are you going to do during those times?
Nothing.
I would probably do something, but not productive something. So if I don't have something in that calendar, and it just happens because even if it's an hour, hey, I got a 12 o'clock appointment, it's done at 1, then I have a 3 o'clock. I got between 1 and 3. What am I going to do between 1 and 3? Most of us will not do anything critically productive. This goes for any of this stuff we do. So putting something in that calendar to at least attempt to hold yourself accountable to it, of that hour and a half, I am going to finish my marketing, place my Kijiji ad, and get my database together. And treat it like an appointment. Treat it like you got to show up to do it. Because the second something happens, the phone rings, you go rogue, and we're bouncing all over the place, and we realize we got nothing done. So the holds in your calendar are evil. They're evil. They will kill your day. Whereas imagine if you had appointments in there. Listing appointment, listing appointment, listing appointment. That'd be great. It'd be a hell of a lot more productive day. But if it's not there, how about get a listing appointment, get a listing appointment, get a listing appointment. Do something to do it in those time clocks. My calendar gets really some days rogue, but when I try and plan, I'll look ahead. I'm looking at mine now because actually I'm out Friday as well. I'm going Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I've got to get certain things done by Thursday. If I don't have something, so for example, I have one thing I've got to plan yet for Wednesday. I've got an open time slot between 2 and 3:30. I have to put something in there, or just nothing's. I'll do stupid stuff. It won't be good. Like I'll sit here and browse email. I'll get my Facebook stuff done. Like I won't be focused on the one thing I should be doing. So I really try and get you guys to think that way. Is how can I maximize those things? Because again, look at a top producer who's doing 50 million, 100 million a year. They have those same time windows. They have from 8 o'clock in the morning to about 7, 8 o'clock at night. It's what they're doing in the activities that are in there that's making a big difference. If you could call 20 people during that hour and get 1 or 2 more appointments, that makes a big difference in your day. Imagine if you did that every other day. So we've got to find the uncomfortable things to do. I'll kind of share this kind of as a tie-in. I belong to a private Facebook group club. It's called the 5 a.m. Club. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It's private. It started by the founder and the president of a company called TELUS. And they built a real estate company into the hundreds and hundreds of millions, got acquired for billions. Guy's great. His name is Sharon. He started this 5 a.m. club. He's California time, 5 a.m. And remember I said, what's the one non-negotiable thing we talked about? His one non-negotiable commitment was a 5-minute phone call every day at 5 a.m. that's going to empower people with a message that has helped him, or he's gotten beat up by, or something he's educated someone, or someone's shared with him that's in the right direction, some kind of message. And at 5 a.m. every morning, to me, it's 8 a.m. my time. It's a 5-minute call. If you logged in at 7:57, all you hear is your people introducing themselves. Hey, it's Jeff. Hello. And all you hear him saying is, good morning, good morning. And you hear the beeps going on. Beep, beep. People, thousands from all over the country. He built an audience, thousands, for a 5-minute phone call. By 8:05, 8:06, he's done. He thanks everybody for the time. You go on with your day. So I was a guest last week and asked to speak about my message. And I've known Sharon a little bit. I've seen him in Inman quite a bit. We're not buds, but we know each other. So I was grateful for the 5-minute slot. So my conversation and topic was the word and the power of the word choices. And choices kind of started off with, we make thousands of choices every day. Thousands. Sometimes subconsciously, we don't even know we're making them. Like literally choice of, when I hang up this call, what do I do next? It sounds silly. Am I going to go get water? Am I going to run to the bathroom? Am I going to sit here? That's a choice. I have to make a decision, right? We're making a choice. So we make all these choices, some of them not so important, some of them very important. And the problem is we don't realize that the difference in our success or lack of success are by the choices we make or don't make. Because when you literally, and this comes down to everything, which we all, I'm just as guilty. I don't make all the right ones. Whether I'm going to, at 11 o'clock at night, eat some ice cream before bed or not. I'm either going to get up and try and eat a healthier breakfast or not. Choice, right? Pick one. So we went down this path. I even got to the level of my children. I started talking to them about what a good choice is and what a bad choice is. And, I've got different age kids, but let's just use my oldest one that's getting surgery right now. He's in a point where he's 18, going out, doing his thing with his friends on a Friday night. I know they're going to have some fun. But we understand the common language we use now, which is choice. And all I have to say to him is, hey, need any money? You're good? Okay, good. Where are you going to be tonight? Okay, you're going to be there. Cool. Do me a favor. Just make good choices. He knows what that means. I don't have to get into the whole song and dance of what all. Just make good choices. And if he doesn't, here's what has to happen. Here's if I don't make a good choice. I have to own it, acknowledge that it was a bad choice, and live up to it and just make it different, make it known. So I made a bad choice last week coaching my third and fourth grade lacrosse team. We have a couple different coaches that help us. The one coach that I respect dearly is a friend of mine. He made a decision in the last 10 seconds of a game. He made the decision to do something. I, for whatever reason, was freaking out because it was last 10 seconds. It was down to the wire. It was almost a tie game. I overpowered him and changed the decision. I pulled the kid off the field. I said, no, you go back out. And I did that. And when I turned and looked at him, I said, do you understand why I did that? And he's like, no, I really don't. Like, what the hell? Like, I should have never done that. I empowered him as a coach. He made a decision. So literally my words after we were done was, hey, man, I am really sorry. I made a sucky call. I should have never done that. It was a bad choice, man. I apologize. It won't happen again. And I'm the head coach. I said, own it. I made a stupid decision. It sounds simple, but I made him feel like crap because I overrode him and I shouldn't have, right? So these choices, to come back to them, we have the power of when we look at our day, what our day is going to look like. There's going to be things that drive us off the tracks. There's going to be things that take us off the rails. There's going to be emergencies, problems, fires to get put out. However, the choice is always simply this. You're going to have that empowerment to make one or the other. And I think when we start looking at our calendar and our productivity and everything else, those decisions fall and lie usually within the choice you make. I'm either going to do the hard work or I'm not. That's usually the hard work. That's what it comes down to. The work where we got to pick up the phone, the work where we got to go talk to people. We're doing circle prospecting. We're doing all this stuff. Those are the choices we say, you know what? Oh, it's so much easier. I don't feel like going outside. It's cold today. I'll stay in and check some emails. Your choice. So we have to own it. That being said, we always have the power to change that. So I really want you to think of those things as you're going through your day, because now it's always on my top of mind. And sometimes I'll catch myself and I'll be like, all right, what was my alternative here? If I did that, is that better off than what I'm doing now? Should I have changed that? And sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I should be doing that. I've got to catch myself. So think about the different choices that you can control and the ones you can change. And if they change for the better, you'll see a difference in what you're doing in your activities, because the choices are all yours. And I tell people simply this: just choose wisely, man, because they're all yours. You empower them. All right. So that was my mini brief 5-minute session. But truthfully, we do make all these decisions. And if you really start to be aware of it, all the things you do every day that are a choice of yours, am I going to get in the car now or 5 minutes from now, all have an impact of how the day is going to go. Do you ever see sometimes, God forbid, somebody gets into an accident or leaves and does something and something bad? Like, not it was on purpose, but we chose to leave at that time. If I chose to leave 10 minutes later, it might have been different. So we just have to make better choices when it comes to production and what we're doing here, right? What you're doing after this call, what you're doing when you have those gaps in your calendar, they're on you. I can only tell you to fill them in with something good, but it's your call, right? So that's enough of my rant. But I thought I wanted to share it because I think I got tremendous feedback. A lot of people sharing things about how they just never realized in simple form that they controlled those choices. You don't realize it. Yeah, look at your calendar. It's your choice. Fill something in there. Or not. That's your choice too. Right? So that's where I want to wrap up today's session on this. What do we need going into this week? Does anybody need anything specifically? Anything anybody need? I mean, everything's under control, I'm sure there. I'd have heard from Sarah. You got deals kind of on the fence of negotiating. Anybody need anything you don't have? Prep for the week, ideas, strategies? We just want to make sure just to check in. We're all good?
That's good.
All good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep taking a look at the stuff you guys sent me as far as some activities. But remember, if you're focusing on 2 or 3 hours, what I want you to think about is, if you're going to put, I'm going to call somebody for 2 hours, you should know what the outcome you want is. I'm going to call for 2 hours, but I want 2 appointments. I want 2. That's how it's going to be. If I'm going to hold an open house, I want a listing and a buyer appointment. That's the goal. That's what I want. So know what you want going in, so it's built into the brain, and that you actually have a goal going in, not just I'm going to go knock on some doors and see what happens. No, I want 2. I want 2 good leads.
Cool. That's good.
Okay?
Yeah, sweet.
Let's go get it, man. I'll chat with Sarah later. You guys have a great week. If you need me, though, just email me, text me, message me, Facebook, whatever you guys want to do. I'm around. I appreciate y'all.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
See you guys. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Jeff.
See you guys.